Yeah! Woo! Alright, baby, that Bitcoin ETF is going to get approved any day now. Wall Street's coming to the party, and we're all going to go to the moon together. See you guys on Jupiter. Look, I know my portfolio is down by 30%, but just because they've delayed one decision and they've denied another doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I'm just waiting for the moonshot here. It's going to happen any minute. Let me just refresh here. It's probably already happened. Okay, look, well, so it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen really, really soon. Look, look, it's a really complex thing. It's like arbitrage and shorting and longing. You just wouldn't understand it, but it's going to happen really soon. So they're reviewing the comments now, and this isn't a bad thing. Could be a good thing. I mean, they only have 1,400 comments to go through. How long could that take? Wall Street's gonna swoop in and save the day basically at any second now. Let's watch and find out when. Welcome everyone to the September 21st edition of What's Happening in Crypto with the Crypto Lark, broadcasting to you from New Zealand and bringing you all of the latest from the crypto world and beyond. Today's top stories: Ripple's price is exploding, why the Bitcoin ETF saga continues, banks, terrorism, Brazil, and Bitcoin. What is the connection? Bitcoin, $6,560 today. But the big story at the moment is, of course, XRP. Ripple plans to use XRP to send cryptocurrency around the world. Now, XRapid is essentially Ripple's implementation of the XRP ledger that will actually be using the XRP cryptocurrency. So if this does happen, that would be very exciting for Ripple, and the anticipation of that happening has seen a big run on the market. Now, the company could launch a service that will use the digital currency in the next month or so, one of Ripple's executives told CNBC on Monday. That sounds very non-definitive. XRapid, of course, is the service which financial companies such as payment providers speed up money transfers into emerging markets using XRP. There isn't an official commercial release timeline at this point, according to a Ripple spokeswoman. So it might happen at some time in the near future. We've been having this promise from Ripple for a long time. We still don't have it yet, but nevertheless, the Swell conference is coming up. And when that conference does happen, hopefully we will have some more concrete dates, perhaps from the team over at Ripple, about when we will see XRapid actually being deployed and used with partners. By the way, pretty sweet website here. Wee. Okay, moving on. Crypto pioneer David Chaum says he's built a better Bitcoin. Think I've heard that one before somewhere, David. Well, he is a cypherpunk legend, we could say. So it is definitely interesting to see what he does have to offer. If anybody is going to be developing something very exciting, we would look to someone like this to deliver on it. The better Bitcoin? Time will tell. A lot of people have come out saying that they have indeed developed the better Bitcoin, and yet Bitcoin remains on top in spite of all of that. The CEO of Denmark's biggest bank is out after a $235 billion money laundering scandal. The real story here, wait for it, they didn't use Bitcoin. I thought Bitcoin was used for money laundering, and yet here they were, $235 billion laundered right through the front door of the bank. No cryptocurrencies necessary here, guys. Wowzers, that is a massive scandal indeed. Over in Brazil, Brazil moves to probe the banks again, of course, after crypto exchanges denied services. Now, they are probing to see whether or not there has indeed been collusion by the banks to exclude cryptocurrency traders and brokers from having accounts. So these banks have been shutting down these people's accounts. Now the banks are coming back, of course, and saying, well, this is all about anti-money laundering and so on and so forth. But really, would anyone out here be surprised if all the Brazilian banks were colluding against Bitcoin exchanges, Bitcoin traders, and of course, Bitcoin brokerages to defend their own positions? I would not be surprised at all. In fact, I would suspect that's what's going on. But hey, let's let the probe actually get in there and see what happens. Brazil's biggest brokerage begrudgingly joins the crypto market. Grupo XP, the owner of XP Investimentos, is launching an exchange for Bitcoin and Ethereum trading in the coming months. The CEO said at an event in Sao Paulo, around 3 million Brazilians have exposure to Bitcoin compared to only around 600,000 that invest in stocks. I must confess, this is a theme I'd rather didn't exist, but it does. We felt obligated to start advancing in this market. This story is hilarious to me. Absolutely hilarious. You have this company that has to get out there and start a Bitcoin and Ethereum trading desk because there's so much demand for it, and yet they don't want to do it. The funny thing is, they're probably going to make so much money off of doing this, and yet they're saying, I wish we didn't have to do this, but begrudgingly, I'm going to have to start a cryptocurrency exchange here. Well, you guys are lucky. Have fun. Europol says that terrorists are still using banks. Fail to abuse cryptocurrencies. They have said that for every instance of terrorism that has happened on European soil, not one of those has involved cryptocurrencies. They're saying that the accusation against cryptocurrencies that they're used by terrorism is indeed overblown and misrepresentative of the truth. Over in Germany, Germany approves Saudi arms sale despite its promise that it would not sell weapons to Saudi Arabia. Fascinating. Now, I bring this up because I feel like politics in so many ways is broken. A political party can say whatever they want when they go into an election. We're going to give you guys everything you want. We're going to stop war. We're not going to sell things to them. And so here we go. We have a government with a coalition agreement. They said, we're not going to sell any more arms to the parties in the Yemen conflict. But because it's politics and there's not really a lot of repercussions, especially for something small like this, they decided, we're going to make the money. Screw it. We're one of the world's biggest arms exporters. Imagine if we had a situation with blockchain where that promise went on the blockchain. And when that promise, what we see now, has been betrayed, well, great. You can automatically send in your resignation as a politician. There has to be some kind of accountability here outside of going to the ballot box every 4 years, because this is crazy. They can just say one thing and get away with something totally different. Speaking of politics and political organizations, UN Women to use blockchain technology in refugee work program in Jordan. Now, this is not the first time that we have discussed blockchain technology in relation to refugees living in Jordan, but this is indeed a new implementation of that, essentially allowing for blockchain to use cash transfers within these Jordanian refugee camps as part of their work program there. This is a very cool way to basically not have to give them banking access. You can pay these people, they can store their money somewhere safe, and they don't have to go to a bank because they probably don't have a passport and all these different things. And yeah, there's certain ways the UN can help them, get passports and get bank accounts and things, but you don't need that third-party assistance in this situation. You can completely jump over that. The SEC begins reviewing physically backed Bitcoin ETF. Will examine 1,400 different comments on the subject that have been submitted by the public. Now, in particular, they have announced that they have begun the formal review process for the Van Eck ETF and the Solid X ETF. Now, that is really encouraging to see that they are taking the next steps here actually in that process. It's a government organization. It's going to take a while. Of course it's going to be slow. Anyone that thinks this is going to just happen overnight, magically, you don't know government, you don't know bureaucracy, because it takes them a long time to do anything, especially when you have people in the background pulling strings that may not necessarily want this to be happening, for example, or might want to be delaying it so they can launch their own products, and gosh knows what's going on out there. But I would like to remind everyone, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. We really don't need the ETF, and I know a lot of importance has been placed on the ETF by different media groups and people on social media and all these different things. And hey, that's great. Let's bring in Bitcoin ETFs. That's going to be a thing. But we really don't need Wall Street, guys. We really don't need these instruments just to cater to high net worth individuals and institutions and banks and all this stuff. Because these ETFs, by the way, one share of any of these ETFs would represent 25 Bitcoin, currently around $160,000 worth of Bitcoin. So this is not for your average Joe. That is something to keep in mind here. And why, of course, the SEC has been especially cautious about making investment products that it considers risky more accessible to unsophisticated buyers. You know who they're talking about, right? The unsophisticated buyers. That's you and me. That's you and me, guys. This is for the rich to get richer. So Bitcoin ETF, it's going to happen one day, whether you want it to or not. But we don't need Wall Street, guys. What we need is adoption. What we need is for you to go out and tell everyone you know about Bitcoin so that more people start buying it, more people start using it, and it can move itself into being a globally adopted currency. And in the process of trying to get things into global adoption, Bitfury has made a coffee machine that accepts Bitcoin via the Lightning Network. That's really cool. Little steps like this, if you can go and buy a coffee from a vending machine with Bitcoin that costs $1, then things start getting very, very interesting indeed. Binance reveals plans to launch crypto exchanges on almost every continent. Of course, Binance is going to be doing that indeed. The Binance empire continues to grow, and at this point is getting so big it's going to be really hard for any competitors to step in and really try and take down this monster of the crypto space. Proppy New Landmark for Proppy, as their latest transaction has been recorded in Arizona. This is another property going on the blockchain. Every day we see these real world use cases of blockchain technology actually happening. Tomochain partnering up with CMC Institute of Science and Technology, a top 2 technology group in Vietnam and one of the 500 largest Vietnamese enterprises, 25 years of establishment and development. Very cool for Tomochain indeed. Bancor is moving on to cross-chain transactions with Bancor X. Now this is going to be working with EOS to offer fast and free trading for EOS-based tokens. This is a great move for Bancor to again have that decentralized place where you can go and exchange tokens easily. And finally, there is an upcoming hard fork to the Steem blockchain. Now, the important part that I want to point out here is that Steem is now going to be making it much, much easier to onboard new users. This has been one of the biggest problems for the Steem blockchain, is that it's very, very slow to onboard new users. If they can get more people joining in a way that is intuitive and easy, that can be very exciting. That hard fork is currently scheduled for the 25th of September. Thanks so much for watching today's episode. Let me know what you think about any of the stories down below in the comments section. Thumbs up the video and share these videos around the internet to help our community grow. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Hit the bell down below to stay up to date with all of the latest in the crypto space. Join the conversation over on Twitter, Telegram, or Steem it. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.